Hi, my name is Sally Barnard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995 Studio A. And now onto the show.
Okay, that's just bye-bye. All right, we have a very interesting show today and some interesting guests. We have Wendy, I have my husband Steve, and I have Dawn, and I have Linda sitting over there. Okay, so I like questions, so please call in. If anybody has seen the new movie out, Disclosure, please give me a call because we're getting various reactions in the studio here. So obviously I feel that the appropriate topic today is disclosure. All right, so here we go. Questions, audience, anybody, ask me anything.
So based on what you were expecting, how did you feel about Disclosure Day?
Well, it wasn't exactly as because we've had this conversation a little bit, as what I expected. However, there are various reasons probably. Disclosure, everybody, which we were just saying, Wendy, I think everybody sees it from where they're at. And I often say that on my show. We see things where we are. So if you're on a lower vibrational energy, as an example, you're going to see lower vibrations. So or higher, vice versa. But I feel that he did a good job, and I'm not going to do any spoiler alerts near the end of the show, of the movie. In between, little things were coming out a little bit, but without going into detail because the movie has only just gone out. I would say see it, absolutely. Curious, go see it, because I think, now is the time for the real disclosure to appear. Yeah.
What did you think as far as what was disclosed? Did you expect more?
I did. However, I can say but it doesn't matter because people don't know the story. The last 10, 15 minutes, I was pleasantly surprised, as you saw the movie, Dawn.
Right.
And I would say, I'd still give it a 4-star, maybe not a 5-star, but I'd definitely give it a 4-star because it's a difficult subject. He covered it. He'd been covering them in many of the other movies that he'd done. So he came forth with far more, obviously, in this movie. Anybody that has the interest, and people listening to my show, I'm sure they all do, go see it, and my news feeds on my Facebook are interesting because I have a lot of people that feel and, believe the same way that we do here. And very interesting remarks without doing a spoiler here.
Mm-hmm. What I found interesting, and I don't think this is a spoiler, was the spiritual, it's like trying to you can't wrap it all up nicely in a bow, right? There's the angels, and I'd asked Anne-Marie this a few months ago, I guess already. There's the angels, and then there's the non-humans. And she said it's like a continuum. They're on opposite sides. There's the intellects, and then there's the love of the angels. And there's this like sliding scale. But you can understand where she was coming from, the Emily Blunt character.
And she was amazing, by the way.
And the love of what that is, right?
Yes. And it rang true to me in a lot of ways. Many things, because I have actually forgotten a lot of my own childhood. And it brought back to me some of the things that I didn't even realize that had been happening to me. And when I saw what she had gone through, and again, it's hard because I feel like it should be censored, a lot of this. Don't say it, Sally. But I could relate to quite a bit of that, yes.
So I was going to ask you, do you think that kids who don't remember their childhood, and there's a lot of people that don't remember their childhood, and there are others that remember every intricate detail, like Freddie. Is that part of, I don't know.
I don't know if it's
reach?
I honestly, you can ask me the question and I can get channeled with the answer, but I think it's all part and parcel of the same thing. The only thing is that we all experience what we are in different ways. And I guess I chose to forget, for whatever reason, some of my childhood. But I realized that a lot of people now, and the few people that I've spoken to, because I went out for, as you know, with Mindy and we talked, and she'd forgotten a lot of her childhood. So I think it's a characteristic of maybe either think everybody's the same way or you don't remember. And a lot of what she was doing or talking about, I related to, yes.
Do you remember your childhood?
I remember a lot of it, yes. And I remember having experiences and seeing things. And even later, I was speaking with Sally of experiences that I had with my husband. So it's one thing to have something, an experience as a child and kind of say, you know, I don't remember that. Was I remembering it? As a kid, you know, you have a little bit of back and forth as to what you remember and whatnot. But when you're having an experience with your significant other and you can speak about it and you have several.
Yeah. Well, actually, that brings back with me, my parents used to, and they actually called in a psychic, because I do remember this, because they told me, I do not remember what I heard, but I was talking so much at night to somebody. So luckily they were open-minded with this whole thing, and later on they told me that they brought in a psychic to find out who I was talking to. Now, I don't remember the talking, that's a good example, but I do remember them telling me they had to bring in a psychic.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Yeah, so a lot of these things.
Did you expect anything different?
I expected more of what was at the very end. That's the only
More
way
of the
that, and you
disclosure.
saw it, so that more, well, I mean, and we all know that you have to be a little bit careful with this disclosure. That's why it's been a secret for so long, but at least it's getting it out there, and that's what the main thing is. I think people are becoming more aware. They're seeing this. He's very well known. Stephen, I always want to say Sperling. Steve's name is very similar.
Now, Freddie
His
had
name
found
is
some
Sperling,
video.
so-
I don't know if we have it ready that we can
Spielberg.
play it. They were looking for some video.
Oh, what he sent.
What
One
he
of the-
sent
yes,
you,
that
that
would be
they were gonna
interesting
kinda-
to see it. We can
They
get
got
more
it?
into the discussion, yes.
All right, so I guess let's play a piece and see where that falls out.
State on origin? Okay, yesterday you told us you traveled, and it looked like years to get here. Tell us the truth. So I take it aliens took over our future, right? Sort of human. Okay, so you evolved from us. So what are you doing here now? Oh. Okay, so how about we concentrate on your time? Try me. Wait, so you know the meaning of life? What's the difference? So you know how the universe is created. So you see God.
That's very interesting, because they did touch on showing the aliens, but they didn't say whether it was fact or fiction in the movie, but they did show you pieces. I've seen many of these because I watch, you know, just go onto YouTube, you will see, because they do a lot of what we would call the disclosure today on there. But that's very interesting. If it does nothing else, Dawn, other than to open people's minds, we're here to help that.
Well, what do you think about it potentially being you astral project? I don't know if you do, Wendy.
Yes.
That
We have to meet sometime. I've been doing that
according
for
to
years.
this, like there was a nuclear attack in the future. These are the remnants of. So they've come back to try to prevent that from happening, but allegedly they're not allowed to change history.
Well, they're not allowed to interfere, basically, but they can, if you give your permission, yes, because we have free will, and that's mainly one of the most important things to know. We do have free will, so they honor that, except for a few of them, though, but most of them do, as you know what I'm talking about. But they have been around nuclear sites that I have mentioned many times on my show here, Dawn. So they're very aware of what we're doing. We really, you know, people predict the future, and I'm not criticizing that at all, because we can. However, the future is many different timelines. So I don't want to scare people with that, because yes, what they're saying could happen. However, there will be another timeline where something is very similar, but it doesn't work out exactly the same way. And a lot of this, I think they have to be very careful. People are scared if they don't know anything about it. So instead of causing chaos, we have to be very, very careful in how it's disclosed, and I do understand that.
Are they immortal?
No,
Or is
but
there
they
a
live
finite
for
life?
many more
Longer than
years than
humans
us.
do.
Much, as you know.
Yeah,
Wendy,
it's a
much
different,
more,
it's a
yeah.
different life experience for them.
And plus, they have much more medical, and they have access to many more things that we're just touching the iceberg. I would say
1,000.
tip of it.
What
Yeah.
I found interesting when I listened to that piece yesterday is he was asked, where you come from, do they believe in God? And he said, where I come from, we don't need supervision. I thought that was
Oh, very
enlightening.
interesting. Very
Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Because in our world, we certainly believe in a higher, most people believe in a higher power, whatever that religion is.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, it's just that we're so controlled of what we have to believe in, otherwise we're not we're not worthy of something. That I do not like, but that's just me personally. I don't think there's anything wrong in having faith at all, no matter what it is. But it has to be channeled what I feel is the right way. So there's many different, it's good to believe, just to believe. I mean, without that belief, really you can't really even understand what we're really talking about, because you're going to say, oh no, I don't believe that. But just to have an open mind to believe that these things could be possible, because we're beginning to see that they are.
I think as more and more people see this movie, Disclosure Day, they're going to say to themselves, it's okay to think that it's real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? And that was evidenced by a couple of things. One, at the end of the movie, the applause from the audience.
Oh, I was so happy to hear that, to see that people were applauding, because some of that message did get out. But I believe, especially as the opening, people are rushing to see it, that do believe. Later on, more and more people will just go, maybe, I'm not going to say a closed mind, but have no idea. I think the people there on the second day of its opening, they wanted to see it. They've been waiting for it. So they applauded. Yeah, that was...
I have, of course, we spoke about it. I had a very interesting reaction to the movie.
Yes, you
the
did.
last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You thought I was having a cold.
Yeah, I thought you were getting a cold.
But I
he
was
had his
crying my
Kleenex.
eyes out. And why do you think I had that reaction?
Well, I asked you, and you said perhaps all the stories and things that I have said, it suddenly began to click, right? Made a little bit of sense after all these years, because I've never kept quiet about me being abducted and astral projecting to many different places. In my book, I write I was astral projecting to planets, so I describe it. But you know something, having said all that, I only think I believed 80%. I mean, I believed it. I knew what happened. I'm going to say understood it. Today, I understand so much more of where I was actually. I say, oh, I went to a planet. Did I? Yeah, I know I did, because it's so vivid, and I've written it down.
1000%.
But today, it's sinking even for myself. So I'm fully aware that people don't get this right away. I had firsthand knowing of what was happening to me, and it was still hard to get it. It really was.
Yeah.
Different planets, different.
When we were at home, as you were going to sleep, you gave me an assignment.
Yeah, I did.
That when I was in bed, to think about why I had that reaction. And I did. I followed your instructions, and it was, having learned so much from you, I feel I finally did see some validation, not some, a lot of validation for everything you've told
Right.
me. Whether what I saw in the movie was real or semi-real or whatever.
The same set of stories that I've been talking about.
Exactly.
That alone is validation in my mind too, for even myself. When I meet people like we have here and yourself, Wendy, all the things that I'm saying, I mean, yeah, I'm 99.9% I know because it's happening, but it's still nice to hear somebody else saying exactly what
Experience.
I've been saying.
Yeah.
It's validation. So how does someone you've never met, and we know that too, come up with the same type of information that I'm carrying on and talking about?
1000%.
There has to be something, obviously we know there is, but in my mind, or people that are beginning to, as we call it, waking up, can see, oh my gosh, yes, that's what I was talking about, exactly what they're saying. So it gives it more validity, really. Yeah.
And of course, there will be people who have their own opinions about what they see in that movie. people who say it's hogwash. In fact, we heard that from somebody here in the studio today. I won't mention any names, but then a lot of other people will accept more.
We're in the right place at the right time, Steve. So I absolutely, and that's what they're telling me loud and clear. We're in the right place at the right time. For those that need to and want to see it, absolutely, they will see what they're meant to see. To me, I'm happy that it's out there. We need to have this information, otherwise there is going to be chaos anyway. But it takes a lot to prove this to people. We know about in Miami not that long ago. They arrived in Miami in the mall, right?
Yes.
What do you mean they arrived? They're saying, yeah, they were there. They've been trying to tell us they've been around for a very, very long time.
1000%.
Maybe they're beginning to succeed now with their story.
They needed some jeans at the Gap.
Possibly, yeah, because if they'd come dressed the way they were, we would have definitely have said that.
1000%.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think there's those aliens, the non-humans, right? Those big that they saw allegedly at Bayside. And then there's the hybrid program, which is totally different because people ask questions. If you are part non-human, right, but we sit here in a human form, or you are shapeshifters, how does that come to be? Does it mean one of your parents and genetically got passed along, or suddenly here you are with this magical DNA within you that makes you part of the hybrid program?
No,
How does
you
that
have
work?
to have, I'm going to say we all have a little of something in us. However, the ones that, like I'm getting goosebumps now, the ones that we're saying we're relating to right now have a very similar DNA. It's not completely, but they're more understanding because you have the DNA, you have an innate curiosity because you feel that maybe you're from somewhere else, you're not from here. So that curiosity gets you to ask more questions, gets you to listen, not just my show, there are many shows out there on YouTube, on Gaia I listen to a lot, that are relating to what we're talking about. But again, and I can only go by someone here that told me this, Aldo, is that in order to have that amount of, now I don't know, this is what he told me and this is what I'm feeling they're telling me to tell you, so it's, in my mind it's factual, that your parents have to have this DNA.
Both parents?
Yes, because he told me this, that you can't actually have a child and let it of that type unless you've had, and I'm not talking about, you see this, that you've got to have, it doesn't have to be a whole lot, but you've got to have that DNA. So actually both your parents, and I'm getting goosebumps, so I know I'm there, have to have this. Doesn't necessarily, it can be dormant, doesn't matter. You can go through several lifetimes with it not coming out, but it is there, it is there.
So would that mean every sibling in the family has part of it?
Has part of it.
But
now,
it
it may not be
dormant.
that much, but you've got to have a little bit in order to have, I mean, I met my husband, ex-husband, that I didn't know that he had that. But then again, if we choose, I hate to say this, but if we choose our partners sometimes, and it doesn't always work out, you've done what you were meant to do because you've had the children.
1000%.
Does you agree
So this
with
makes
me?
sense to you?
It makes total sense
thank
to
you,
me.
because I don't mention that to too many people, but I heard that, and as I'm saying that, although you don't realize I am not completely, I'm half in and half out, but I got validation. Go ahead and say that right now.
1000%.
Because you have to have that. Again, and I have to say it can be dormant. It doesn't necessarily mean, but you know, being psychic, because we all are psychic too, but for it to come out, it usually runs in the prominent part of your DNA,
Yes.
that's the best way to put it, will come out, and it runs in families.
1000%.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're here to validate.
Yeah,
a lot
there's
of
that,
this.
and then there's different, there's the Pleiades, there's the Arcturians. So each one of those people, at least from what you're saying to my experience, each one of those people have a specific piece of the mission.
Yeah.
And the other part of the mission is when we were talking about them showing up at these nuclear sites and stuff, they're trying to make sure we're not doing anything to get rid of all of us. So
That's
in
exactly
essence, where it's
right.
like babies playing with fire.
Exactly.
So they want to make sure we don't blow up ourselves and other
But on
other
the other
civilizations.
hand, on the flip, there are the aliens, let's say, that, and that's a small percentage, but they're very, very powerful, that are not obeying the rules, so to speak.
1000%.
So that was a good way of putting it. So they really are also here to keep us here because they want a certain amount, but they're here to to be the world that they want, best way to put it, be the world, which is now a control over us. But they know better, the ones that don't do that. We have free will, and you're not meant to control us. You're not meant to. But there are some people, as in life, as in people walking around here, don't obey the rules. Not obeying the rules.
So can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So do you feel that there's the let's say the less positive faction, we'll call them that. Do you I have a personal belief as to behind their purpose. Do you feel they are on quarantine here?
Are they quarantined?
Quarantine from doing their debauchery?
They're doing it, as we know.
Right.
But I think, I mean, from what I feel, they're losing ground a little bit.
1000%.
Okay, so because our vibration is lifting, and because of what they know a lot, but a higher vibrational frequency can upset the balance. I'm not saying completely, because it doesn't.
Right.
But there is I'm not saying they're worried, because they may not be, but there's definitely a little shift going on there. Yeah, absolutely. I feel that. Yeah.
I feel like they got the memo.
They got them perfect. I mean, without
got the
actually
memo.
saying what it is, because we know what we're talking.
Yeah.
People that know will know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But so what we're going to see more and more chaos right now.
1000%.
And we have to actually. It sounds ridiculous, but we have to have that chaos in order for us to change because of the shift.
And to anchor.
To anchor in the new. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You see, now we've just met. And we've got exactly the same views. You see what we're
Exactly.
saying?
You guys just met today?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I
we-
met you for a minute.
Right, exactly. We haven't had the
never had a
opportunity to do-
conversation.
exactly.
No, but we're about on the same
Page.
page.
Yeah.
And now, how would that possibly be? That have a conversation, and suddenly all that I'm saying or that you're saying, I'm relating to, because other
1000%.
people can say, "What are they talking about?" If they're not interested in this, but we know. We know what we
Exactly.
know. And so you
Exactly.
don't,
Absolutely.
That happens so often in this building.
It happens.
Yes.
You've seen that, Dawn.
The
so many-
connections.
Yes.
It has.
that-
I've told Dawn from
There's a-
early on what she's doing here, what Freddie's doing here is very important.
Yes.
Not only for this, but all the different places and angles that you come at, you're able to reach so many people. So in a sense, I kind of see you like an ambassador. I don't
To
know if
the
that
aliens.
resonates with you. You and Freddie are like
Yeah.
ambassadors.
But this is
there's-
like some sort of portal here.
Well, oh,
actually.
absolutely.
I
without a doubt.
noticed that, absolutely, because
We've
when
said that
I
too.
first walked in here, 3.5 years ago now, right, or 3 years ago, a long time ago, Dawn recognized me, and I had my artwork with me, which came in a very strange way, and you'd actually see my paintings.
I know, in a
So
dream.
how in the world does that happen?
1000%.
But it never stopped there, Dawn. Look at the amount of people that have come in and that have come to the studio here.
Let me ask you something, because you just said something that really resonated deeply with me. Do you find that there, and this is for you as well, do you often find that there are people that say, I don't know, but I see you, I know you. I had that recognition with my husband.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I saw him and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's one of my kind. So do you often feel that?
100, you see 1,000%, I'm going to say 1,000%, because absolutely. I mean, good and bad. You can see someone
Oh,
and
yes.
say, I know that person, I don't want anything to do with them, because there may be karma there. But in other words, you need to have something to do with that person to get rid of it. But yes, absolutely.
It
100%.
takes
Yeah.
me a little longer to realize that, but yes, I have felt that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's like kind of, you know, even what they're going to say. So it
Before
goes
they-
even deeper than that.
1000%.
And so it's real. It happens. It's just that you've got to be open enough to recognize it, and that takes time and work to do that. But we
And then, what is your calling with it? Please, my frustrations of having no fingerprints and not even be able to use my phone half the time is only getting worse.
And you're going to find that you're acclimating. So we're basically, if I can,
Sure.
and then you're more than welcome to chime in. I kind of feel like you approach this space. We've been living at a baseline, and then you get lifted up. And now you've got to find out what that new baseline is. So in other words, you're being given new tricks, kind of like when you go from 5th grade, now you're going into middle school. There's a learning curve and an upward curve.
absolutely, I
Yeah.
agree.
And you brought it up, Dawn, just now. I was going to ask you earlier today on the midday show, you were reluctant to tell your story about what makes you part and parcel of this discussion today. Maybe you'd like to share what you didn't want to
Well,
share.
we talk
on
all
this
the
show.
time about my sensitivities.
Yeah, which I
And-
said when I'm not to interrupt you because
Yeah.
I want you to sell, but I say to Steve sometimes with that loud noise yesterday, all these things. I say, Dawn will validate that, which you by all means do.
Yep.
Exactly what I'm experiencing. We call it empathic. We're an empath, but that goes with the territory, and it's bad, isn't it?
And then I wonder how there are people that can actually keep every TV on in a house and music and be on your cell phone and not be overstimulated.
Yes.
So for me, we talked about this. It's getting heightened for me.
Oh,
Yes.
that's what I wanted to say too. To me, I thought maybe with older age, I'm more not in tune. I guess I was.
He calls
but
me an
it's
old hag all day
bothering me. But it bothers me more than it ever had, and it used to bother me. So now add that, which you can relate to. Yesterday we went to a sports bar for dinner. I forgot we were in the sports bar. I'm not that keen on sports, but I forgot. And they have all the televisions on. And suddenly I hear a scream because whatever it is, they were happy it had happened.
A goal on the World Cup.
I was totally, I mean, I was just shaking.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. It's not fun. But the fact is that we recognize it. The fact is there are people that has this going on. And yes, I think our heightened, the sensitivity that we have has heightened. It's more, do you feel that same way?
I do.
Yeah,
And then
I-
I'll put certain things into practice that'll help me.
Yeah,
Yeah. My
But
son
it's-
and my husband as well.
It's hard to
Yeah.
explain to people unless they're that way, because I tell Steve, talk to Dawn, because I know she is. What I'm experiencing is real.
Exactly.
And it's very hard to do certain things. It's hard to go into an airport. I mean, I'm going to bring up doctors' offices because the vibration, especially there are people that are not well, so it hits you. You really cannot function that well at that point. It's hard, right? So, whew.
It's hard. And you go into a public place. My sister wants to go to a concentration camp.
Oh, God. No.
And I can't imagine
No.
walking
Wow.
in
I
with all
couldn't.
of those. Now, being Jewish, I understand it's not an obligation, but it's an honor to be able to understand the path they walked. But as me, and she looks at me, she laughs, because she's my sister, but has no issues whatsoever doing the things that I know I'm already
You can't,
hyperventilating
no,
over the
yeah,
thought of doing
just
it.
the thought. I mean, we went in Washington, right?
No,
The open.
but we went to New York, and you wouldn't go down to the 9/11
No,
memorial.
I won't even go to
And,
9/11. Okay.
you know,
Well, I did that not knowing. I did it before I knew anything, not thinking anything, and I went and had like this utter panic attack.
Yeah, cool.
That I couldn't breathe, and I had to get out. And the deeper Chuck went
so
into
true.
it, the more I wanted to get out. But it's like a maze, and you go deeper and deeper and down and down. And I was like, listen, you can stay, I got to go. But I didn't understand why I had to go.
We basically experience a panic attack.
Exactly.
It's
But
the
it feels
same,
like
the
a panic
shaking,
attack.
Everything.
It does.
Yeah.
It
Which
does.
is
Were
why
you-
the
were-
movie, I could understand that also.
what you were referring to in Washington was the Holocaust Museum that you
Yeah,
didn't
no,
want
I
to go into.
don't do that.
and
I
don't
can't do
blame you.
that. No.
I did
But
that
I
with
know
Aaron.
today. But when you
Yeah.
don't know,
When you
you
don't
wonder
know.
what. No, I couldn't even bang
1000%.
loud noises. I didn't even like fireworks as a child because anything banging and loud, for some reason, I guess our sensitivity to all this is very acute, right? And everybody loves fireworks, and I used to be like this. I would
But
go
I guess
to,
that goes back to the midday show. Is that part of being a non-human or an extraterrestrial, or is it
I'll let you
spiritual
answer that.
and sensitive? That's why I asked, because, or is it both?
It's all of the above. It's
Right.
not even both. It's many different things. Sometimes that could even be a past life experience where maybe the planet you were from blew up.
Exactly.
And even that. So there's a lot of nuances to that.
Right.
I am here to tell you, at least from my experience, there is a way to lower that sensitivity. Once you know that you have the sensitivity, then there are ways. Now, granted, there are places that I will not go either. So I'm right with you. You got to know where your baseline is. But I'm here to tell you, you don't have to suffer, or we don't have to
Well,
suffer
That's
to it.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's good to know that, but there are, I know what I have gone through in my life before I even understood that. I mean, I couldn't, as a child, if there was an accident in the street, you know, a road, I've always said this, I can call 911, but I can't, I would do it immediately. I don't want anyone to suffer.
Yeah, but you're
but
not
I
gonna be
can't go. But as a child, when you were driving and I could see an ambulance going someplace, I would literally be shaking.
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, why am I like that? Are other people this way? And if I once I was beginning to drive and I knew the ambulance was going that way, I had to turn and go the other way. I didn't understand it. I don't care if I was a half an hour out of my way. I had to do that because what we're doing is we're experiencing and feeling what that person is feeling at that point.
But there are so many empaths, I feel. Well, certainly we meet so many of them in here,
a lot
right?
here, Dawn. There are, right? But
Yes.
in this studio here, I mean, this has been amazing, actually, the amount of people that have come in here. So, as you said, you didn't realize so many people believed,
Yeah.
but it's not. You just have, because it's like the law of attraction, which they talk about. We're attracting that person. You could go out in the street and someone would have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. It's
1,000.
just that once you become aware of it, it seems to attract the people around you, right?
1,000,
We
you
do
will be
that. I love
recognized.
the way she says 1,000%. I'm going to start doing that.
All right, you want to take a commercial break,
Yes,
Sally?
we'll be back in a few, on the other side of my show. I usually say that, on the other side of my show. We'll see you in a minute.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Barnard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came into the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest into art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed a paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she is able to astral a project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life and direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today, authorhouse.com and amazon.com.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Barnard, and you can find my book at authorhouse and amazon.com or visit my art on my clothing in my boutique at artbysallybarnard.com. Now back to the show. Okay, we were just having a really interesting conversation about being empaths actually, and it is so true, and I'm sure many of the audience here are relating to what we talk about. And just now I got a flashback to my school. It was in England. It was actually, if anybody knows about English history, it was where the Battle of Hastings was fought, 1066. So I'm in a school, which is like an abbey, where going back all those years, they were fighting. And they said it was actually, there were ghosts. I remember the Green Lady or something walked around. But you know what? Now it's making more and more sense to me. And I understand that because the impact, well, being especially, I guess we're born that way, I used to feel certain things. We were allowed to walk around some of the ruins as a child because the teachers would explain things to you. And I used to get this feeling of like, it's like they were fighting, I guess, or whatever it was. But now I'm only now realizing what I was going through. It wasn't fun.
And not only at the school, not only your empathic self, but you had many experiences as a child that would lead one to believe that you were touched by the people that weren't originally from here.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I still am. They're around us. But the reason we know they're around us is because you can sense them. You recognize me, I recognized you. I feel really comfortable with you because maybe we've all got a certain amount of the same DNA.
Well, could that be what we talked about when you first started, your soul family versus a non-human family, or is that a different soul family? I know it gets complicated.
No, yeah, because it's actually the soul family. We all have soul families, but I think they intermingle. They,
1000%.
it's like here, right? You have friends, but then your friends are all the same as you may have, because you have a lot in common. I don't think it's any different, because if we've got that certain type of DNA, they're basically our soul family. Even if we
They're
haven't
our ancestors.
actually, they're our ancestors. So even if we haven't met them, we know they're around.
1000%.
And I remember Aldo saying to me one time, "You will be protected. You have your whole family to protect you." And this is the guy that started this whole thing, recognized me. And I truly see that today. I'm not, maybe that's silly, but even before this, I'm not really scared of anything. I mean,
Right.
certain things can upset you in life, but the fear is not the way that I feel that it should be sometimes when I should be really scared. I'm not.
Exactly.
But that's a part of our DNA that we probably all carry. We may not even realize it. But that's just one small part, because I know that I'm protected. And so
You carry a team with you. You do know
Absolutely,
that.
yeah.
I can sense them.
Do
They're
you
all
see
behind you.
Sally's team?
Yes.
And
I can
can
see.
you
Is
see-
there anybody similar in the?
Yes, there is. I was going to say there is an overlap here. You've got your own. You've
I'm
got
gonna
at
just-
least a steady 7 of them that walk with you steadily.
Wow.
Steadily. So if you want, you can even ask them and hey, give me a little bit more comfort or give me a little bit more bumpers. Let me ask you this, Sally. Have you been in places? I'm asking you this because it's happened with me where I am, say, for example, Walmart shopping. And there's somebody in that lane, you said it before, I can sense that they're yucky energies.
Yeah.
Do you get a different aisle?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then again, and Steve was witness to this. I went to sell my book about a year ago. I was at a mall in Wellington, right? And first lady that came, there weren't many people, it wasn't that busy, but there were people there, came up. She was from London, England, and was near where I used to live.
Nice.
The second lady that I knew her. I was following her wherever she was because I could see her, but I had no reason to believe she was ever going to come to my stand. She comes over to me, and I know that I had a bad energy coming towards me. I was aware of that. It doesn't matter who it was or if I knew or not, but I knew there was something that I didn't want, basically.
Exactly.
She comes over to me, looks at me, and I've been watching her for about an hour. And she said to me, "You have a really bad energy." And you heard her say this,
Yes, I did.
aimed at me. And she actually had in her purse some drops because she was very psychic. So she obviously carried it around for herself. I allowed her. Who would let someone put drops in your water? She said, "Please drink this."
That scared me a lot.
Yeah.
No, I knew.
would say.
I recognized. Well, the reason is I recognized her. I knew who she was. She was from London, England. Well, and it's just the how does
connection.
that happen? I mean, I've had many things, but that was one that happened recently with Steve.
That's amazing.
And we've now become even more friendly, actually.
So, Wendy, you just mentioned that you see 7 people that Sally's traveling with. No wonder
I
my
went to
bills
it.
at dinner have gotten higher.
You've got a whole team coming with you to eat and
Do you
lunch with you.
see a mute, like on Dawn's side and my side? Is there, is there a lady there that she's watching both of us?
Yes, there absolutely is. There's a male, and then there's somebody who's androgynous here. Just by looking, you can't tell which gender they are. So you guys are actually right here, right now. There's 3 that you're sharing right now,
Okay. Okay.
and they are also of a like a broadcast type of thing. Oh my goodness! One of them is an ambassador. I think that they're here to kind of coach you on the other side. Have you had dreams of like coaches or guides? I kind of feel like they're kind of subtle. They're not trying to push you into anything, but they're subtly walking you over a threshold. Do you get a sense of that, Sally?
Well, yes, because we actually, I know because she came through to me, but I think she's more Dawn's guide from another lifetime, but she knew me, so she's also guiding me. So I was wondering if she does come into the studio here.
She
when
does.
we're
She does
talking.
sit in and she listens
Yes,
in, and
yes.
it's like I've said this. It's important for certain pieces of information to go forward, to bring it full circle with the movie. I have not seen it, but I get a sense that everybody is doing their own brand of disclosure in a sense. So you guys are also going to be pivotal in what disclosure looks like for people who speak our language.
Yes,
Everybody's going to go to
I get
different
that.
sources in a sense. So you guys are going to have that and the ability to kind of help people over that threshold gently. There's nothing.
I get that, Wendy, because Aldo, who may probably, I'm sure this is the man who never left me for those 20 years and guided me. He was my guide here, but he's passed, so he's my guide on the other side. And he was a very knowing. He came in with all his lifetimes, everything.
I
He
see
knew
his
that.
third eye very
Yeah.
open,
And he
very
would be
open.
here probably right now, and I'm
Yes.
getting goosebumps. But he told me to be his mouthpiece. The last words he said to me before he passed, he said, and he did, at that time I didn't know, but he knew when he was going to pass. But it was my goodbye, really, basically, because I saw him for the last time on Earth here. And he said, "You be my mouthpiece. Be my
Nice.
mouthpiece."
Yep. We have to have them here on the physical.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
can-
He was
they can-
20 years. He explained. I mean, I'd never astral projected, but I'll tell you more of the story later. But he was there, right there, because how could someone be in what I thought was a dream? I didn't know where.
1000%.
And he never left. Well, basically left my side, but he called me every day if he wasn't, with me.
Nice.
So, yeah, he's here.
But I feel like there's so many things that people don't know, even with medicine. I always joke, I wish there were people that help with angel medicine. Because everyone's laughing. Human medicine is different than a different
resonate
DNA
with you fully.
medicine.
Absolutely.
I resonate with you fully. I have pharmacy background, 21 years of pharmacy background, certified and certified and registered. So I know that whole realm, and
Does that make sense to you?
totally makes sense to me. This is why I from childhood I knew I was going to help. I played with all these different elements as a child. When my son's diagnosis came, and he got diagnosed at the age of 3. Formally, he had his diagnosis at the age of 4. But I knew that medicine was only going to go so far. I take a Tylenol or an ibuprofen or whatever you need.
That's what I do.
But I really resonate with holistic medicine.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why I had to go holistically, with the crystals, with the breathing. I taught a lot of those things to my son. We took my son to a doctor, sat in front of the psychologist, and she had already had the prescription pad to prescribe. And I saw what Adderall and all these different drugs were doing. And I said, I, in good conscience, cannot mess with my son's brain in this way. Still to this day, my son turned legal and he was asking me questions. Mom, do I have to drink alcohol? And I'm like, no. He's like, my brain is alcohol free and I want to leave it that way. So even instinctually as his mom, I knew early on I could not put something earth medicine or human medicine in him. He needed other things, and that has been what
Totally,
has assisted him.
100% related to
Yeah.
that. And I'm sure
Those of us who believe in earth medicine.
Yep.
My sister is a
the-
huge believer in earth medicine.
Yeah.
Huge.
But you find that, I'm going to say that likewise, like us, the majority of people that have come to this point in their life, and I'm not criticizing either, what works for you works for
Exactly.
you, which is actually part of the belief system. What works for you, I believe that taking whatever I'm taking, if it's not, prescription, will work with me because I know I can work with myself. I mean, I'm not
1000%.
young anymore, so things will happen. But I have gone basically pretty free without taking too many medications throughout my life.
can
and
heal ourselves.
Absolutely, 100%. But you can't tell, you have to believe that first. And I think with the
1000%.
spirituality that we all have gained comes the belief system of, oh my gosh, our cells are alive. Our cells tell us what to do. We need nutrition from the earth, not something that's been made. And I'm not
Not synthetic,
criticizing it.
exactly.
But this is my belief, 100%. Maybe that's why it works, because it's my belief. If you believe that you're going to take a pill that's prescribed, well, we don't have to go too far. What about the placebo effect?
Placebo medications.
How
Yeah.
does that work? Come on, you believe it, you don't know. I mean, it's right in front of you, for goodness sake.
I am right. I'm
So
picking
you
up
know,
every.
absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
And yet, if you're so, and I'm not criticizing that, that's fine. Go along the path that you want to.
Exactly.
But so much of what we say makes sense.
1000%.
And I will stand by that till the day I take my last breath, because I know what I've seen. I listened to a lot of the programs where doctors have turned from being a regular doctor to what we believe.
1000.
And then miracles happen.
1000%.
So, but you can't make someone believe
Nope,
that.
nope.
Can't.
Yeah.
And it's not, you don't even want to, because it's not our business.
1000%.
Present it and do what you like with
But I
it.
think it's things that it's more innate. You knew from a child. You knew from and somehow you just know.
Yeah.
And siblings are different.
Yep. They
Yeah, absolutely. Because your belief system, Dawn, you came in knowing. I'm absolutely certain of that.
Yeah.
And I did too. You did. Is it right or wrong? We just happen to be, everybody has this.
Yep.
We're all the same.
We all do.
But the more that you understand it, the more of who we are, the actual who we really are and where we've come from, you become more aware because our curiosity is there. And with that comes medicine, comes all the bad things that you don't want anymore in your life. Talk about the aliens because
He's back.
he's back. Okay. There are the good and the bad of the aliens, but the good ones will tell you what we're saying. I'm certain they're telling me.
I
You know,
agree.
don't do this, take that, because that's what's going to help you.
1,000%.
I'm finding myself searching more and more of my past, my childhood, for things that might connect me to your world, and which I desperately would like to be a part of. I don't mean, we're married. Obviously, I'm part of your world, but your
Well,
spiritual world.
And and I told you this before. I told you this last night when you had that, epiphany or whatever it was when we watched the movie that you showed that emotion. I'm only here to guide you, Steve, in any way that you want. I am not here to live your life. I am not here to tell you to believe that way because I'll be doing myself and you a disservice, and that applies to anybody that I meet. But if you show the interest, believe me, I'm here for a day and a half, 2, 3 days, a year to explain what I know. I only know that much, but I am a teacher, and I'm realizing that because somebody said that to me. So I will talk and I like my sleep, but if it took all night, and you know that, and I can see that you're getting very emotional because you feel the same, and we all feel the same.
Absolutely.
It's something you can't describe. You have to feel it.
Right.
And my purpose here, and I'll say that openly, I've been doing this show a long time, is to help people, is to heal people the best that I know. Do they have to believe me? No. But the difference between when I first started that to where I am now, because I've grown, that's their business. That's their free will. I'm not here. I'm not going to say to waste my time because that sounds rude, but there is somebody else there that may want to hear, or I will learn, not only me, I'll learn from the person giving it to me. I know you have a tremendous lot of information for me, Wendy, as I may be doing something different because there's something there brings us together.
Absolutely.
I know that I'm on my right path for me. And that takes whatever it takes today, especially at the latter part of my life. I'm going to go and be hypnotized to find out with all these abductions that I've had. I'm very curious now. I want to know. I think I've gone on too much. I don't know what happened to me. But that's where I'm coming from.
Yep.
So.
I'm a lot further along in my journey than I was in February of 22 when we first got together. But I could be a lot further, obviously, if I had been willing to do the work. And
Don't reproach yourself for that, for anybody, because we say timing, because there really is no time, but situations and circumstances will bring you to where you may have chosen your path to be. So I think I've asked me a question or something.
I was going to say, I was going
yeah.
to ask you a quick question. May I? Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely.
So have you ever gotten a chance to sit or channel into his team? You do have a team, by the way, and your teams are both different systems.
No, I've given him psychic messages. We both lost a child. I lost my daughter. He lost his son. And I feel them. If I get something, I'll do it. But I realize today that there are times when you have to, not referring necessarily to Steve, but you have to step back.
1000%.
Because that person is not going to benefit, and there could be somebody here that is. When I first had this happen to me, I wanted to tell the world. I wanted to teach the world. Then you know what I realized? I know that much.
Yeah.
But that much needed to be given to someone that needed that much at that point.
1000%.
So, I
Wendy,
know
is there something distinctive about my team that you can share with me?
You guys both have different, your teams are here for different purposes. And what I feel for you, Steve, is she's opened the door for you to be able to, with your own discernment, with your own level of expertise or comprehension, to listen for them, because you're going to assist those who are not as far along in the journey that we are. We need people to be able to speak to. We won't be able to speak to everybody. What you have to say, what I have to say, what each of us have to say are going to resonate with different parts of the audience. So your component will help those who are either have been on the fence or like trying to make sense of it. You'll have the words. They will assist you slowly, because your pace is way different than Sally's, which is different than hers and different than mine. But you definitely have your team, and you've been inspired to visit that, to see what it looks like for you, so that not only do you get to be part of our world, you get to also expand on yours.
Okay, thank you.
Perfectly said.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you.
Because people show up, you know, they say when the teacher appears for the student, but that makes more sense to me than just, you know, more sense today than it did, because my teacher showed up. I didn't know. I literally had to be banged on the head because I'm suddenly painting from previous lifetimes. He knew what I was, he knew every part of my life. So I was ready. I was ready as a child, but I didn't know what I was ready for. But when I had that experience, I changed overnight, became an artist, and all these things were flooding back to me. I was ready, so my teacher was right there. He knew me for 1 year. And never came up to me, even introduced himself to me, but he knew where I was. And I was working in the same building. But he knew when I was ready, and I was ready to receive.
Right.
Maybe I wasn't the year before, although I knew this, it was dormant.
Yep.
He told me from my last lifetime it was dormant.
Yep, absolutely.
So-
And you've been an activator of sorts for him as well.
Well,
In safe
I
space.
mentioned that to him the other day because I'm trying to figure out why at this point now, and it's no reflection on Steve in any way, but I need to learn.
He
but-
feels safe now.
yes.
So you gave him
But
a safe space to
So
do
there
it.
had to be some reason that because we met over the years. I've known Steve actually 20-something years.
Nice.
We didn't see each other for many years, and we met up again, and we got married 3 years ago. I'm
Nice.
terrible with, I'm dyslexic.
3.5.
3.5. I'm
Nice.
dyslexic. I use that as a thing. So there are reasons.
I do have a question. I
Please.
wanted to know, I think you've answered it. I don't know. I'm going to ask it anyway. I wanted to know if, because you haven't, but you've watched the movie, Steve, if the movie had any kind of relevance, not to you, but towards Sally. In other words, I know that you had something that touched you, but does it give you any kind more confidence or gives you a better understanding of where she's coming from?
Yes, without being too specific, there were some things in the movie that Sally had shared with me had happened to her, and I can place, Sally back at that point when it happened to her. So absolutely.
And you saw it. You were present when it happened to her?
Well, not what I'm talking about. When she was a child.
Oh, okay.
But you were present when you saw me paralyzed. Right?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he has seen a few things.
Right.
I don't get scared, but in this particular, I guess because I know what was happening, and I must have screamed, but I was paralyzed though. But he did hear that, and then I guess I was paralyzed.
Yep.
And he walked in and he woke me up. He did get me out of it, but you weren't scared. You
No.
knew that something was going on. Right.
No, but Frey's question was about a corollary that I might see with the movie.
Right. What you do, you understand now.
Did it give you a better understanding? Because one of the things that I talked to the people in the theater is that everybody had this illusion that they knew more than the next guy. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, when they left there, they understood it. Maybe I just didn't understand it. They understood it, and they were comparing each other and say, "Oh, I understand what you're talking about now."
Well, that's what you said to me.
Sally's abilities didn't start when Aldo said, "I know where you were last night."
Yeah,
Okay, Sally's abilities started way back when she was a child,
exactly.
and
Which I've shared with you some of the
Right.
things.
And there's no language, I bet. You going through those things and there's nobody
Yeah,
who can relate.
but I didn't. Now I'm putting it together. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, and I'm not alone. I know we all know that. And certain things happened to me in certain parts of my life, and I was wondering why and how did this happen? Does this happen to other people? Well, a lot that I've said is not necessarily a normal thing, Steve. You know what I'm talking
Right.
about to happen, but just watching that movie yesterday when she forgot her child, I learned even more. But not necessarily about aliens, about where we're actually, who we really are, and what's going on. So it helped me tremendously. And I had, prior to that, 3 weeks ago, I said, I want, because I want research done on me anyway, but I want to go back into some of these things. So I had already found out someone that I was going to go and see. So, you know, it doesn't matter how far advanced or we're not advanced. It doesn't matter. It's when we're ready, it will appear what we need to have happen. I want to go back into, I know a few lives because Alda was with me in many of my lifetimes.
Yep.
So let me turn it back on you, Freddie. You expressed your opinion about the movie. You didn't care for it, but was there anything in that movie that you can think of that you had an aha moment of, okay, I agree with that?
Well, let me tell you, I'm glad you said that because I was thinking about this when I was sitting in the back. The movie didn't answer any or check any of the boxes that I was looking for. Not that it was a bad movie, but it didn't do anything that I was looking for. And believe it or not, I went back and I watched some of the tapes that Sally had in here, some of the show tapes. And I don't know if you showed the alien piece.
Play part of what the first one.
Well, there are 50 pieces of that alien piece. Now, I'm not saying that I can't verify whether or not those alien pieces are real or not real. I'm trying to figure that out. But I did have a few others that gave me some explanations. And all of a sudden, believe it or not, I started to understand where Sally was coming from, more so after the movie than before the movie. So it had a different impact on me.
So where did those alien pieces come from?
They came off of TikTok, and I followed them back that they were recorded by some unknown company that put them out. And Gio and I are trying to figure out where they come from, because in there's going to be some segments that I want to send that explains who these aliens are. And I heard it and saw it, and they said that they are us in the future. There was
That
a
makes sense to
nuclear
me.
explosion that occurred, and the reason they have the ability to travel back in time, and they're back here because they want to try to avoid that nuclear war from happening. And then it talks about religion, it talks about the creator of the world, it talks about the creator of the universe. All of that, believe it or not, that aliens said, those are all man-made ideologies, and there are reasons for it. And you got to see it. I mean, there's so much of it. How much of it is a movie? How much of it is true? I don't know, because I'm trying to figure out who put this stuff out, and it doesn't have an end lead yet.
So it's very interesting that you would say that about, they came back in time to try and prevent this nuclear holocaust. We're watching another mindless, brainless show. It's kind of like a soap opera, kind of a show called The Way Home, and it deals with time travel. And the people in it try to go back in time to prevent somebody from dying, and things like that, and was expressed that can't happen. You can't prevent somebody from dying if you go back.
Correct, because it would change the future.
It would change the future. But Aldo used to ask me, I went at depth with him with that because he did understand it very well. But what I just noticed that Freddie said, he had a very similar, it's not about me, it's about what I'm trying to get out there. You cried at the very end, and I said, why? And you said, because now what you have been saying makes sense. And that's what is a good way to end the show, because the more we talk about it, the more that people will feel more relaxed, will feel that they can open up, and they'll say, my goodness, this has been happening to me, now it makes sense. So if the movie only just did that, it's done its job. And that's a great way really to see that, right?
Absolutely.
So I guess we're closing a few minutes early, but that was a good way to end it, right? Go see the movie if you're interested. Go see it.
And for people who want Sally's backstory, get a copy of her book. It's Call Me Zena. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it at Author House. Scan the QR code right next to Sally and be able to, it'll take you right over to Amazon, order your book, understand a little bit of her backstory of why this is so important, where she's been, what she's seen, the artwork that she's created because of it, the stories, the interpretations. It's a good time
Well,
to
it's a
actually
good
start promoting
time
your book
because I
again,
go to
Sally.
other planets.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is
And
a
what
good
that
time.
looks like and how
Yeah.
you travel back to human form.
But you know, just another thing that I've actually just observed too. You walk around our house, what do you see all over the place? I didn't even realize it. Big eyes. I haven't got them here, a lot of them. They have these gigantic eyes in some of my artwork. So, oh my God, I've been drawing aliens for years. I suddenly realized.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
As we call aliens, but it's
And
just
if anyone wants to contact Sally, you can contact her on socials at Call Me Zena. You can contact her right here at the studio at 888-994-4995 or email you.
yeah, absolutely. I'm here. I'm an open book. Please read it. I don't often talk so much about the book, but I think it's important because then what I have written, it was flying to other astral projecting to other planets or remote viewing, whatever you want to call it. I'm here to answer the questions. So there it is.
Say goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you next week.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Barnard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me